Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review. Today I'm taking a look at the high-grade Gundnode from Mobile Suit Gundam, the Witch from Mercury, and as you can tell from the box right there, this is a P-Bandai exclusive, so that means I got mine, where you can also get yours, and that is through Buy, link in the description. So on cracking open the box, this is what you are greeted with, and so far I am very, very impressed. I don't know what this is going to be based on, whether it's the Gundvolva, which I assume it will be, or the Rubris. The legs actually look a bit, or should I say, Elfrith or whatever, but yeah, interesting so far. Let's take a look at the plastic. So on cracking this open, there is a lot of plastic inside this box, and it's looking good so far. We also do have a runnerless stand in here as well, so you do have a stand, which is always nice, but it's this right here that's got me incredibly interested. This is a whole lot of plastic on a very unusual runner. I assume these parts right here are all the parts that kind of attach the Gunnodes together into that kind of a weave that they do in the series, but it's on such a thick runner that it must be almost an inch, not quite. It is 1.5 centimeters in thickness. I have never seen a runner like this. I know it's not really all that important, but this is interesting to me. That is cool. I feel like that can be used for something, especially if you buy a lot of Gundnodes. But yeah, besides that, we've got beam sabers. These are some armor parts. It says these are off the Gundnode, so those are all new. This right here is the inner frame in a very nice shade of almost like wineish gray. That's even a color. Also Gundnode. Runnerless stand, always nice. C2 is Gundnode. D is Gundnode. A1 Gundnode. And yeah, A2 is Gundnode. So everything here is brand new runners for a premium Bandai kit. This is this should have been a full release. Anyway, we do get stickers in here as well. Just like before, these are for the various shell units on this robot. Seems like we've got off, red, and blue. And we have some eyes and stuff too. So not so bad. Nothing that looks like it's color correcting besides maybe these black bits up here. But no, they're probably for off versions of the head sections or chest. I guess we're about to find out. When it comes to the build of this kit, I am absolutely floored. First off, this is a typical P-Bandai box, so I expect it to be a typical P-Bandai release, which is heavily based on a kit that came out before, be it the Gundam Rubris or something like the Gundvolva. But no, this is completely new for 2024, built from the ground up. It's a unique build. The legs are very short, heavily armored in the upper section, lightly armored in the bottom with kind of feet that point downwards. The body builds up with a whole bunch of unique joints to it I've never seen before. The way they all kind of cup into each other is quite incredible. The whole thing is like nothing I have ever seen before. It's pretty much got a full inner frame for the most part, besides one little bit in the core. The arms are stripped down manipulators, not hands. And we do have shell units all over the place. That does mean we have stickers for these. No pre-molded shell unit like we would have seen in some of the more premium release high-grade main suits from the show. But the stickers do work well. We've got some nice clear parts for over them. A little bit more like the Gundam Rubris Ur and Thorn. Overall though, I am floored by how great this is. It's way too interesting and too good to be premium Bandai, definitely. And I think the only main reason that this is premium Bandai is because Bandai expects small amounts of people to buy large quantities of these. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. First, into the aesthetics. So jumping on into the aesthetics right now, this is what it looks like built. Now this is 100% straight built. I didn't add any panel lines, no nothing, and it does look absolutely incredible. Again, this isn't based off of anything that we've seen from this line of kits before. Now to me, the most interesting thing about this is definitely those legs. They're incredibly, I don't know if they're really short, but the bottom end, this little gray piece, well, it's more of a purple, sorry, that is just like pretty much two pieces of plastic. It is like the bare inner frame. But what I always wanted to notice is, can this actually just stand up? Because these feet can actually bend up just like so. These bits back here can drop down like this. So we should be able to get this standing up for a quick spin. So again, the high-grade Gundnode into a little bit of a spin, and once again, this has some familiar aspects, a definite Venatus design through and through, but this is so unique in a lot of other ways too. The shorter lower limbs and the legs is incredible. The layering of the armor is like nothing I've seen from this line so far, especially down on the legs once again. And those shoulders, everything look really cool. The little ears there harken back to the original pink Rubrus, and the whole thing just looks absolutely incredible. Now, here's just popping the backpack off so you can kind of see what this unit looks like without the backpack. It's the usual backpack adapter, so if you want to use it for a custom, you can do that. And you can see there's some nice design elements in this unit right here, just in case you wanted to actually slap them together with some other kits out there for a little bit of a kit bash, because it is incredibly unique in pretty much every aspect of its body. So throwing it once again up on the stand so we can get those feet pointed down in the way that it should be, so we can compare it a little bit to the art right here. As from what I can see, this has every bit of color separation and everything that it should have. The design is absolutely impeccable. I will mention that I do have the shell units in red on mine right here, but they are black in the image, but otherwise they are exactly the same, and that leads us right into the stickers. So this right here is the sheet of stickers once you've got this kit built, and as you can see, we've got a bit of a stripe across here of the ones that I did use. So you do have black ones for the shell units off. We've got these blue ones right here. I think that's when they're all interconnecting together. But overall, I did pretty much use everything. The only thing I did not use is the eye sticker up here, and the reason for that is this does have color separated eyes. That would be an absolute shame to lose, so I decided to not actually use the stickers. But I did paint the eyes in there with a Gundam marker in green, just to kind of get it matching somewhat with the shiny stickers that are in there. But for example, this sticker right here in the chest, behind that there is a grey color separated piece. Same for the eyes, not the same for the shoulders and the legs, however. So even if you don't use the sticker, you will have green color separated eyes in there. And once again, back to the shell units, these do catch the light very, very nicely. They have been designed in a cool kind of way too. They're only covering the parts that they need to cover. Otherwise, we do have some nice molding inside there in the actual plastic. That goes for this nice little segment around on the back again. So there is some nice plastic molding inside of there as well, underneath the sticker. But of course, if you did paint these in a nice shining red and yellow, using some nice metallic paints, they would look a whole lot better. But yeah, when it does come to the various detailing on this kit, it is incredible. We've got these color separated vents in white, some nice thrusters that are actually pushed in there. They're not coming through from underneath. These are nice little pieces as well. This one right here, if I recall correctly, has a little bit of articulation, so up and down like so. And the arms are probably the most interesting aspect, because this kit does not have your typical hands. It's got more, how to say, remedial manipulators. These are just some claws now. These do not open up, they just stay like this all the time. The little gap right there can be used for the rifle, but otherwise they are incredibly simple and don't actually do anything. But yeah, overall, one absolutely ridiculously unique looking kit. Let's check out what it comes with. So now jumping into the accessories, and here's everything that comes inside the box of the high-grade Gundnode. And what we get in here is quite a ridiculous set of stuff. We've got the beam rev rifle, we've got a runnerless stand to hold this thing up in the air, we've got 4 beam effects, and then we've got this absolutely ridiculous effect part. Might be the most ridiculous gunpla effect part I have ever seen, and it's going to cause some people some massive financial problems. But yeah, let's check this stuff out. So usually when it comes to the accessories, the first thing I take a look at is the hands, but there are no hands to actually take a look at. Now you might be wondering, can you just throw a pair of standard old-fashioned hands onto this? And the answer is no. These don't actually do anything. There's no connection to them. And the joint is one of those kind of double C-clip kind of joints, so you'd probably, well, if you wanted to change this to having other hands, you'd almost have to harvest an entire arm off of another kit. Maybe something like the Gundvolva, which if I'm not mistaken is in a similar-ish color, but then again they might be completely different. Next up in here we do have a runnerless stand. This does exactly what this right here that I'm using does, except doesn't have the articulation to kind of get it into various poses for shots. Otherwise, these are absolutely perfect for keeping your kits up on a shelf. You just pop them on like so, and they just hang out just like that. They're good, they don't really fall over, and they get the job done. I'd recommend nipping off these little bits that stick out, but besides that, absolutely perfect, just not really for reviewing it. So moving into the actual weapons, and first off we've got beam sabers. We've got 4 in total, that is 2 long and 2 short. The flat kind. This is harkening all the way back to one of the very first Witch from Mercury releases. Was it the Beggar Beu? Which basically had these kind of beam saber emitting gauntlet armor sections. That's what one looks like with the long beam, or you can opt to use the shorter beam just like so. So getting it into a little bit of a pose with these beams, and it looks good and it feels good too. The posability here is pretty much what you would have seen throughout this line of kits so far. A couple of funny bits down at the knee and maybe the hips a little because of the unique design, but otherwise this is still a posing beast and looks incredible. So next up in here we have the rifle. This is somewhat simple. I think it's just made out of 4 parts or so. There is an interesting twisting gimmick to it where it can just twist around just like so. The attachment is just this super simple aspect, so that means it's not like you're going to be popping it into an average Gundam's hand. This is very designed for a singular purpose, this robot. And that's the aspect about this robot that is just so cool. This is almost beyond mass-produced to the point where it's like super mass-produced and stripped down. The no hands is incredibly cool, the fact that they're just kind of grabby manipulators, and the way this weapon actually attaches in is just as simple. You just pop this little segment in like so, and that is it. It's just attached onto the arm so simply, just like that. And it actually attaches in such a nice, simple, cool way, but incredibly unique. Once again, this can flip upside down for that kind of look, and it doesn't hit off the manipulator and changes the shape of the rifle ever so nicely. So I'm super curious about this rifle right here, so I'm going to read out the blurb and find out about it a little bit. What it says is a customized portable firearm inserted into the manipulate vice in the arm. Manipulate vice, that's what it says. It can switch between 2 different modes: beam rifle mode, where the barrel may be spun to fire single shots for long range battle, and beam machine gun mode, capable of rapid fire power. So there we go, that is what both of those modes are all about. So the last accessory in here is definitely the oddest one. I actually have these just tucked up like that, kind of, so it wouldn't take up so much space, but it actually goes a little bit something like this. So this takes it from you needing 1 of these kits to needing at least 7, and at maximum an infinite amount of them. So in order to actually get to this, and I might as well mention the backpack right here, the backpack just has 2 simple points of movement. One that moves the wings like that, and one that kind of rotates them like so. So you can kind of get them into whatever kind of cool pose you want them in. But for this, we actually need to get these entirely out of the way just like so. Then you need to remove this little plastic bit just like that. We have a blue one of those on the back of this. Just take that. It pops on into the back just like so. And you can kind of tell where this is going. This big old huge thing then, let's see which way is up. I think that way right there. Attaches right on. And yeah, that right there is what you end up with. So a little bit of a blasting effect right there. And that almost kind of hexagon shape that's kind of traced out by those. So at the end of each of these, you've got this little bit of a ball joint. And that is where you stick another Gundnode. So that means just with this guy alone, you'd need 6. And from each one of those, you'd need an additional, what, 5? And then on and on and on and on again. I mean, like, you could kind of build almost like a huge container almost net of these that can go around you or around a room or something like that. I mean, someone out there has to do it. I've seen people do some absolutely crazy things when it comes to kind of mass-produced Gundam kits, so it wouldn't be, beyond someone absolutely maniacal and crazy to actually get a few of these going, at least 50. That is something I would love to see, and this is an interesting addition, without a doubt. So finally now onto the articulation, and this is as rock solid and lightweight as you'd expect from a Witch from Mercury kit. Starting off with the usual pose, and for the most part it is pretty good. The only thing that I found was a little bit limited was the upper leg kind of area, but besides that, the upper body has so much movement, a great ab crunch, everything is fantastic, and this right here is what we get in the end. I did lose a bit of armor right here because the toe can teeter upwards, but the armor gets in the way, so it ended up popping off over here. But besides that, it can bend down nicely. This has an absolutely phenomenal ab crunch going on inside of it, and the only thing that's kind of limited is just the way this leg kind of moves upwards. There's a little bit of clash between armors there, And this knee is an incredibly simple little knee, as you can see, but overall, quite good. Let's check it all out. Giggity, giggity, giggity goo neck. There it is, all the way up, all the way down, side to side, and a little bit of pivot that's a little stiff to get. The shoulder is a little bit of a cup attachment with a ball joint. It's aligned to move forward just like so, not much to the back, but lots of forward. The shoulder moves like so, a little bit independent to the arm, just like that. So there's the arm all of the way up, all the way down, full 360 spin, full rotation at the upper arm. There is the bend at that interesting elbow, so very simple, and the hand section doesn't do anything at all. When it comes to the ab crunch on this, it is the ab crunch in this is very interesting. There it is all the way bent. It kind of comes out of this little socket a little bit, but it is designed to do so. There it is then all the way to the back. So one more time, forward and back. And as for side to side, it happens inside the torso right here, which is very, very nice. Rotation then, side to side, stops about that point there. This kind of solid hip joint like we've seen throughout the line so far, so no kind of mechanism in there, just ball joint into hole. There's the kick up to the front, incredibly limited. There it is out to the back, incredibly limited. And there's the splits, doing not too bad at all. Full, well, it's not the full, only a semi spin at the upper leg because this little armored cup, which is separate, which looks extremely nice. This thruster here can move up and down. There is that hilarious knee bend, so it's very simple, just like this is a simple robot. The ankle on this is very unique. It's kind of a funny barrel joint, so it only moves side. Oh, well, that helps you see. The barrel moves to that ball joint there, goes right on through, so it is only side to side. There's no kind of actual up and down. It's just right here like that, these bits like that. But you can't actually get this thruster to point any further down than it actually is. That's the angle it stays at, and the foot kind of just moves around it. However, this little bit of armor likes to escape every now and then, but for the most part, not too bad. But yeah, there we go. One more time, that's it in the pose. The posing on this is pretty good. It's hard to get the legs up too far, so it's limited at the legs. But then again, this is not a ground use mobile suit. This isn't even a mobile suit. This is just a gun bit with limbs, and it's for flying around in space, and it does that absolutely perfectly. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is a platinum tier kit. This is a ridiculously cool high grade. It does everything it needs to do, and it does it spectacularly. This should not be premium Bandai. This is one of the most unique and fun builds when it comes to the Witch from Mercury line. It's just so unique. It's definitely a Venatus kit through and through, but it's got some nice layering of armor, some unique aspects. The only real letdown, of course, is all the stickers for the shell units, but they're not that bad, really. You don't really notice them so much from a distance or even up close. Those are the sort of stickers that work out quite well. So yeah, going through the list, aesthetically gorgeous, looks cool, lots of nice little shiny bits, and the armoring, or should I even say the layering of armor and the thrusters everywhere just looks so cool, and those hands, unique. Accessories wise in here, it's just simple. Well, it's just the Gundnode. It's got a rifle, some beams. It's nice to have a stand in here too, and that back effect thing, that big hexagon thing, that has such major potential to empty out your wallet. And lastly then, when it does come to the articulation, it's rock solid as you'd expect from one of these kits. Can pull off a lot of poses. The upper body is incredible, the wings are nice, the legs are a little bit limited in some regard, but they are funny little simple legs which have not so simple armor on top of them. But yeah, overall incredible, ridiculously too good. I highly recommend it, so if you can get yourself one or 7 or hundreds, do it. They are fun. Anyway, I got mine through buy, link in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. As always, I can't finish this video without special thanks to those who support the channel on the memberships as well as over on Patreon, including Abraxas, Caleb Engelhardt, Joe, Orgy59061, Shadow Wolf 179, 10 Soldier YT, and Van Fawn.